major. She took 2 years of high school French. She wants to fulfill the requirement with French courses. What would Maria need to do? Anybody? Who has Maria? Oh, perfect. How would Maria satisfy? She wants to take French courses.
She would take a French 100B and French 201.
Perfect. Because of her 2 years of high school French, that gives her the prerequisite for 100B, and then the 201 would fulfill. Now with French, the only thing to keep in mind is looking at the French department. So she would either need French 201 or 210. Those are the third semester level. With her, we want to not recommend French 200. French 200 is actually a study abroad in Paris. So most students might not want to do, some might want to, but most probably would not want to do that. So we wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Okay, Fred, who's an anthropology major, he took 3 years of high school German. He took the equivalent of Spanish 101 at community college, undecided if he should take German or Spanish courses to fulfill the requirement. So what would he need to do in either situation?
He's gonna take German 205A, because the prereq for that is 3 years of high school German.
Okay.
And if he wanted to continue in Spanish, he'd have to take 2 more classes to fulfill that requirement.
And those 2 classes would be?
Spanish 102 and Spanish
201. You got it. Perfect.
Woo! Go right.
Good job. Okay. Jessica, who is a history major, she graduated from a high school in China where instruction was taught in Chinese. She wants to fulfill the requirement with Japanese courses. What would Jessica do?
So technically, since she's already a native speaker, she doesn't even gotta do it, but if she wants to extend her studies,
And that's a perfect way of wording it, thank you.
she must successfully complete Japanese 211, or the equivalent level.
Right, and so in her case, because she's got no background in Japanese, what would she start with?
111.
111, and then she would work her way through the third semester. That's perfect. Okay, Brian, who is a political science major, took AP French language exam and received a 3. He wants to fulfill the requirement with Spanish courses. So what's the situation with Brian?
He already fulfilled the French language requirement because he got a 3, so if he wanted to take Spanish, then he would start Spanish 101.
Right. Perfect.
Oh, go team!
Yes. And this is really good that the last 2 teams have pointed this out, and actually all the teams that had this kind of scenario have pointed it out. It's really good to say, well, you actually technically already have fulfilled this, but if you want to keep going, and that's the right way to go about it, because it is up to the student. If they want to pursue another language, it's completely up to them. Okay, Rick, who is a music performance vocalist major, took, by the way, all of these are actually artists. These are first names of artists, because I was having fun with it. Rick, who is a music performance vocalist major, he took 4 years of high school Spanish. He's undecided what language courses to take to fulfill the requirement. What would Rick do?
So he has to take a semester of Italian, German, and French.
Perfect. Yep, so that's what Rick needs. Did everyone catch that? So that's an example of it's the very specific one. So you have to go to that the language requirement list, and you have to look at the music because it's based on their emphasis. Okay. So Lisa is a psychology major. She took a college-level Japanese course at the community college. She wants to fulfill the language requirement with Japanese courses. What would Lisa do?
So we're assuming it was the most basic level college course and that it transferred. And if that's the case, she needs to take 112 and 211.
Actually, in Lisa's case, so you want to... No, that's okay, that's okay. What you would do is you'd refer back to page 312. Because in Lisa's case for Japanese, they have a very specific requirement that says if the student does have any sort of background in Japanese, they need to take a proficiency test first with the Japanese department. So you would just refer that student to the Japanese department, and the Japanese department would determine what level she needs. Okay. And then our last one, Cameron, who's a criminal justice major, took 3 years of high school Italian, wants to fulfill his language requirement with a 3rd semester level of Italian. What would you say to Cameron?
Criminal justice didn't have a language requirement, so technically doesn't need to fulfill any.
That's correct. That's correct.
But if you want to extend your study.
But if you want to extend your studies, that's exactly right.
You can do it, for DE.
And that's exactly right. If you wanted to go on and keep going with the language that you have background in, especially if you wanted to use it for a general education requirement, the student can certainly do that. When we get to the degree evaluation part, that's where this is all really gonna start coming together, because that's where you guys are gonna learn how to be able to look at that evaluation specific to that student and be able to guide them even further.
So if he like, he or she,
True. It was after, this one was not a musician, although he is actually a musician. This is after my youngest brother, who's in a band.
Okay, cool. If he did want to take language because he already took 3 years and wanted to take one, I guess, because I know people who've taken 3 years of like Spanish and still been in 101, would he go straight to 201 or 211?
It's his choice. Yep. We used to be very strict on that. A long time ago, we wouldn't let students kind of go backwards. We're not strict on that. If a student wants to take a 101, the only time they can't take lower division language, if they have a background in it, is if they're a native speaker of that language.
Okay.
We will not let them then go take lower division classes, because that's just not fair.
That makes sense.
Any questions on that? Okay. Phew. Wow, we just caught up, didn't we? All right, so far we have covered everything except for major and minor requirements, which we will be covering next semester, or next session. Next semester. Real quick. So that one's going to be a little bit of a lighter session, because there's not quite as much to cover on that one. So be prepared. The quiz is going to be a little, meaty because of the stuff that we just got through. If you can, definitely take advantage of those review sessions, because I know with the choppiness with the PowerPoint, it might have been a little hard to follow. Any questions, as always, reach out to me and to our TIs. And then the session after that will cover general education, and I'll turn it over to NSD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Heather, to all of you for being flexible with our technical difficulties. We made it work. We made it work. A couple of things. Great questions. Keep asking of the listening and pay attention. So you guys are doing awesome. So just want to put that out. And Heather, you can mention about these.
Oh, thank you. So we don't expect. So we don't expect there to be retakes, but if there are, this will be the expectation with the retakes. Frankie will reach out to you on Thursday, so the day after our session, to let you know if you need to take a retake. You'll need to take that retake and arrange that with Frankie no later than the following Tuesday by noon, because that will give me time to grade that. Again, we don't expect there to be retakes, but just in case, that's what the expectation will be.
Yeah, so I'll send this in an email as well, but the next review session is going to be Monday at 4 with Josh, right? So you'll have until Sunday night to RSVP once I get that email out, all right? Yeah.
Heather, if you gave us Valentine's, we have a Valentine's review.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's really cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
One more thing about review session, it's also an opportunity for you to work on your small group presentation. It doesn't have to be regarding what you learned today, but of course, Josh, whichever TI is hosting the presentation, it is an opportunity for you to go over that. Given our tight schedule, we don't always have the time in session to review some of that stuff. So to help along with that, use that time, to go over a section, practice. They can practice, they could give you a small little presentation of a section that you're having trouble, whatever it may be. Definitely take advantage of that. It's not just for advising information, okay? Because we want to make sure that we support you in that process as well, because, what is it, the practice ones are coming up pretty soon. And that should not be the first time that you are presenting. I've told TIs, if it's the first time, they can stop you and say, you know what, you're gonna have to reschedule or do it on your own time, because again, it's their time, your time, so again, make sure to use that time wisely. Just wanted to remind you about that, but you guys are doing awesome, and I've been, just enjoy advising in general, so this is fun. But yeah, that's all I have. Do you have anything else, TIs?
Yeah, two guys, anything?
Any other questions from you all? Alrighty, well, enjoy the rest of your evening. See you all next